Alright, today we are working on a 175 VX. We're going to take out the def injector and the pre-knock sensor. So you can kind of see the injector back there. We'll get around to it from the side over there and pull the injector out. What's going on is we've been getting pre-knox codes. I pulled out the knox sensor and it's just covered with crystallized def. So I pulled the injector out, tested the injector with it running, and it's just dripping right down on the knox sensor and coating it, and killed it. So we're going to put a new injector in, and we're going to put a new knox sensor in, and hopefully get this problem taken care of. So that's what we got going on today. Let me get things set up and we'll get going. First thing is to get this black guard off right here. That way we can kind of get into it, pull this loose and let it hang. These are the bolts that hold the def module and pump and everything on. Here's our connectors for our knox sensor. One here, one on the back side. I believe this is the one we're after. We'll find out. So yeah, let me get everything set up and we will get rolling. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is get these bolts off this cover plate. They're all 13s. So this one down here. Loosen it up. Taking these loose. I'm going to loosen this so I can pivot this guy to get this out. This cover, it doesn't want to come out just by itself here with that bracket. So I'll loosen this up, take this guy loose a little bit. That way everything moves. Here. This bracket down here, I move out of the way. This guy here, that's your bottom bracket. Pull him out. Pull that one. And bracket's a fun one. Okay, got him all the way out. Get that up a little more. There we go. Get that guy out of here. Alright. So now we gotta, what we're going after is, here, hold on, let me. Alright, so there is our injector that we have to remove right here. So this is the injection line, return. Down here in the bottom, this line here in the back, you can see that's our pre-knock sensor down there that we're going to take out and get in replaced. So it's not a lot of work. Let me get everything set up here and we'll get going. Alright, we're going to start here by loosening this guy. Retainer for the injector. Hold those def lines in place onto that bracket. We got to pull those loose. Okay, got those. Now let's got our lines loose. Before I take that off there all the way. Get in here and release that line. So there's a tab on the side of that line right there. I hope you can see it. That blue button that needs to be pressed in, which releases this guy here on the side. Press it in, it releases the lock, and then you can pull that line off. We're in a bad spot. So what I'll do is go ahead and pull this guy out, make it a little easier to get to. Pull this all the way off so I can open that up. Pull it out, pull our injector out. So now our injector's loose. Grab that, push it in. Push it down. Sometimes you gotta push it down, release. And out. So, locks on those collars right there. So that is our injector with our gasket. And we're going to be replacing both of those. Now I'll get the new injector and we'll get it installed. Then we'll get our knock sensor installed. Ooh, I gotta get a drink. Okay, so here's our new injector. Kubota. There's our new gasket, our new keeper, and our new injector. And here's our old stuff. So we got to keep that. It's got to go back for warranty in case they call it in. So we're going to take those and get them installed in here. And we're going to get that knock sensor out. So I'm going to get the camera back in place. Alright. So what I'm going to do wipe that off a little bit. Give it a little wipe. And put a gasket on our injector. Caps. Okay, so plug our injector in. We gotta get our keeper up there and squeeze them. Started. Okay, take it till it's snug. We don't want to over tighten it. We got that. So we're going to take our bottom line. Glue clip. You don't have to press the clip in to get them on typically. Maybe I'm wrong. And these seems like you do. So we're going to press it in. Okay, that one's on. Rear one. Press it in, slide it on. Always check to make sure they're on. And we are. So now we're gonna get these hold downs back in. Okay, now before I plug everything back in, I'm going to want to do this sensor here, or knock sensor. So let me get this unplugged and we'll go from there. Alright, so now we're going to go after our lower knock sensor right down here. Pull it out. It's kind of like an oxygen sensor, kinda, except for it runs on the can, has its own module, and alright, so next is the knock sensor. As I said, it's down here right in the back of our exhaust. It's kind of like an oxygen sensor, except for it picks up NOx. This is the controller, the computer runs on the CAN bus. So let me get set up and we'll get it pulled out and get our new one in. Alright, as you can see, here is our knock sensor. Pretty well covered with crystallized DEF. Makes it real hard for the NOx gas to get down into the holes in there, and that DEF just gets down in there and crystallizes. So anyway, we're going to take this off. We'll pull this module off here. The new one has the new module, unplugs right here. So we're going to get this guy out, put our new one in, get it down in there. The only thing I can say when I put the new one in, always make sure you put some anti-seize on those threads. They get in that exhaust and they get hot, and they become impossible to get out really if you don't have anti-seize, or they're really tough anyway. So anyway, get some anti-seize on those threads. We'll get this new one in and I'll show you what that all looks like with the new one in. Alright, so we got our new knock sensor module, knock sensor in. We'll go down and see there. And we got our new injector, DEF injector in. Everything is hooked up. All my lines are back connected into their clips, back where they should be, proper place. Now I'm going to slide in that cover, the black cover that we took out, and then I'm going to get this thing mounted, the DEF module mounted all back up with the bolts. It'll have the cover on, and then we will light this guy up and hook up the PC service tool and see where we're at on our numbers and make sure everything's going to be good. Okay, as you can see, we've got our cover back on, bolted in, and we've got our lines going through their little areas here. Down below, you got a couple lines, or your DEF injector lines that go down in through there. We've got our new knock sensor module in here, plugged in. We look everything over, make sure we didn't leave anything around. Pick up. We got to get our old knock sensor and injector back into the box and to the shop for warranty. So now what we're going to do is get the PC service tool out, get this thing running, and watch our knock sensors come to life, watch our SCR system, watch it do some dosing, and make sure everything is running good. And then after that, we have got to run a clean out our particulate filter. So we're going to do a regen because our SCR system was messed up. Every time it would start to regen, the SCR would get hot enough, around 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and light off the knock sensors. And once that pre-knock slid off and went straight into failure, which would derate the engine and quit the regen. So right now our DPF, diesel particulate filter, last time I looked was at about 85%. It was at 100% the first time I was here. I got it to regen it at least down to 85%, and it kicked out on me when that knock sensor lit up. So what we're going to do is make sure everything's running good in the SCR system, watch our knock sensors come to life, watch those get going, and then if everything's up and running good, we're going to do our regen, get a complete parked regen in, and then we'll be done. So here we go, and we'll get the computer out. Alright, so here's our PC service tool, and I just wanted to show you before I cleared it. We had a code 3223, which was our pre-knock sensor heater bad intelligent device, and then the source 23 2023 FMI 12 source address 23 bad intelligent device. That would be the pre-knock sensor as well. So it's showing that they're bad. What I'm going to do is go in here and clear all the inactive faults. That's basically what they are. They're not active right now. So we're clear. So now what we're going to do is go into our custom data monitor. We're going to grab all of the ACU data, just all of it, and so I double click on ACU, then I hit OK, and here we go. All of our values. So what I'm mainly interested in right now is this SCR inlet knock sensor status. We're at cold, NOx cold, and here's our outlet cold. So we're going to look at those. Basically our inlet, that's the one that was giving us trouble. What'll happen is it'll go from cold and then it'll say warm once we get to about 500 degrees in our SCR. So our SCR inlet temperature right now is at 199. So once that climbs up to around 500, we should go into warm. Then our outlet will go into warm, and then everything will come on board. If we're working right, then we can watch it start to inject. Our DEF pump is primed, DEF is circulating, and our DEF pressure is 50.8. So it's holding pretty good at 50.8, 0.7, 0.8, but it's not dropping a lot, which would tell us that our injector is leaking again. So that's our statuses. I'm going to go get this thing warmed up. I'm going to go deadhead the hydraulics and get it hot. Once we get up to 500, I'll try to catch it before we get to 500 here. Maybe I'll set up my little handy dandy tripod so you can watch it while I am heating it up. So here we go. Alright, so what we want to watch is our knock sensors cold, and then our temperature of our SCR inlet. Once we get around 500, we should see these things light up to warm. So I'm going to go see if I can get this thing hot, warmed up, and then we'll go from there. Whoops. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. Alright, as you see, we're at 465 on our inlet. Our noxes are still cold, and we got to get a little bit warmer here so they'll fire off. Let me get it a little bit warmer. .52. Alright. I'm climbing. I'm going to have to put it to it here. Alright. Let me keep going. We'll get them there. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to double test this thing. I'm going to leave this all up so I can come back and look at it. But what we're going to do is go into programming, and then we're going to go in, since we got to do our park regen anyway, we're going to enable our park regen, get everything to go green. We got to have our accelerator pedal at 0, our parking brake set got to be in neutral, and our coolant temperature has got to be above 158 to 194. Our DPF soot load is 80%, so we do need a regen. It's saying not needed, but I say it's needed. So what we're going to do is go down and enable it. It also helps us with the SCR. It'll get this thing hot and make sure everything's working fine so we can go through regen. We're going to also go in and watch the SCR data while we're doing the enable. So we're going to enable it. It's going to tell us to press the display button. So I'm going to go up here and press it. Our display button. Now let me go around. Much easier to see. So when they say display button, they're not talking about this display up here any longer. On the trucks with DEF regen, we have a display up here. So this is a button that's telling me to push. This disables it, and this tells it to regen. So we push it, it goes into regen mode, telling us that time is going to take a little while. Now you hear the engine revving up. So it's going to start doing its thing. We're going to go back over here and watch the computer. So we're in our regen. So what I do is I go out of here now that I know I'm regenning. Go back into my diagnostics, back into my custom data monitor, and hit OK. And now I can watch everything